Hello, it looks like we're live. Let me know if you can hear me well and see me. We've got Clive Thompson, we got Rafi Farber, and also Phil Lowe, who has a channel on Rumble called The Bitter Draft. He's been on the channel before, and he does a lot of stuff with Rafi. So it'll be interesting to have yeah, we'll be four people on the live stream. We'll try to answer as many of your questions as possible. The title today is the PBOC, which is the People Banks of China, injects $140 billion via reverse repo, while the Fed, of course, is expected now to cut in 10 days' time. I think they're going to do 50 basis points. The market expects 25 basis points. And I think it's highly significant that the two biggest central banks in the world are yeah, they're accommodating. And that's why I think we're seeing what we're seeing, gold, silver, and the miners. And what is that? Well, that's a major breakout. I was just looking at the gold chart. There's nothing above here. It's just like plain sailing. I'm not saying there won't be short-term corrections, but it looks very bullish. So let's see. Gonna come over and say hello to everyone. See how many of you are here already. We got Nick the Greek. Nick Greek says hi Mario. Rob Kemp. Justin Taylor says evening Mario and Rudy. And Rudy is yeah, he's over here. There you go. Yeah. Uh, Requa is here. Says hello Mario. Collector Ricks. Ounces, thank you for the super chat. He says, ounces and ounces plus data feed may face brief disruptions from now until September 12th as our provider upgrades their systems. Sorry for the inconvenience. That's fine. I mean, it's a good app. For those of you who don't know, the Ounces app basically allows you to see what your holdings of gold, silver, platinum, and palladium are worth in your home fiat currency. So, and it's really easy to use. Let's say you've got 100 ounces of silver and you buy two more, you just change it to 102 and it updates second by second. September 12th, let's hope that gets fixed, ounces. Miss SJ, good afternoon. Monaco 64 community from New York. How's Rudy? I love these Sunday live shows. Rudy's doing really well. There he is. He's lying down here. Yeah, he's doing great. Wow, I can't believe he's going to be almost three in December. So it's gone by really quickly. Nizzy says it's football Sunday, Mario. Bad timing. I don't watch any football, to be honest, be it football of the European kind or American football. Yeah, I mean, I watch a little bit of golf. I watched a little bit of the Irish Open, and Rory McIlroy won in the playoff. But that's fine if football is more important for some people. I don't mind. It's everyone has their own free will. Mitzi Lorenz, good evening, Mario, and happy lunar eclipse. Yeah, I was speaking to a friend. He said there is a lunar eclipse, and also some kind of blood moon. Yeah, I guess we don't follow those things as much as probably our the ancients used to. Yeah, we're too focused on football or golf. Maybe we should care more about those things. Mitzi. Wayne Robertson. Hey, Mario, excellent panel. Hello from Oregon. Oh, thank you. They should be coming on soon. I usually come on earlier just to say hello to everyone because it's tough saying hello to everyone on the comment section of the videos. There's a lot of spam there, of course, but I try sometimes to comment there. Excalibur, don't know definitively. I've heard that day traders are buying up bonds, stupidly thinking bonds are going to 2x would be the level of stupidity and financial ignorance befitting day traders. Well, day traders usually don't have positions, long-term positions. They're day traders. So I'm not too sure if what kind of bonds they're trading, but to go 2x in one day, it has to be some kind of junk bond. Alex Sherback says hi from Canada. RB says hello, Mario and all. Kroiki, hi RB. Matt Barnes, greetings from Orwell, Vermont. Derwin Roberts is here, living the dream. Wow, Rudy is 3. Yeah, he will be 3 in December, so he's almost 3. Yeah, he's still quite a character, but he's calming down. Living the dream says Parrot is 57, my cat is 12. We have a friend who has a dog, I think it's a Chihuahua, and she's 21. Yeah, 21. That's old for a dog. Fox Mongoose says hello, Mario. Rafi's come on. Hi, Rafi.
Hi, Mario.
How are you?
I'm good. Speaking of mongooses, I'm having a mongoose problem.
Who you are?
Yeah. There's mongooses next door and they keep stealing my eggs.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's one of the handles here. Someone has it. It's called Fox Mongoose.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's a coincidence. Yeah, I'm just saying hello to everyone. Amused reindeer, since you cleared my clipboard. Uh, Swim dog, aloha from Virginia. David Jackson says hello from Greece. You were in Florida recently, weren't you, Rafi? For how long?
Almost 2 months.
Oh, wow. Did you enjoy yourself or you prefer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank God. Yeah, everything was fine.
yeah, good. Yeah, and yeah, the we're waiting for Clive and Phil. And yeah, the title today, Rafi, excuse me, is PBOC injects 140 billion via reverse repo. While now the market expects the Fed to start cutting rates on the 17th, and I think I don't know if you agree with me. I think it's going to be a new rate cutting cycle. Is that the way you see it?
I don't know if it's going to be a cycle or if it's going to be like 150, 25, 50 basis point cut and then a crisis and then a cut to zero. But
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a Fed governor who talked about a jumbo cut.
what does jumbo mean? 75 or more?
I don't know, but he said that if there were, depending on the jobs number weren't great, but they weren't that horrible. So maybe I think the market expects 25 basis points, but some people expect 50.
When is it? The 17th is their meeting?
Yeah, 7. Well, yeah, it starts on the 16th, and they decide on the 17th.
So it'll be the sixth anniversary of the Repocalypse.
Repocalypse.
It was September 17th, 2019.
The repo crisis. Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah. Oh, there's Phil. Hi, Phil.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm on secret location.
Okay.
Wow,
Okay.
that's
Actually,
a really realistic virtual background.
Yeah.
I'm, I'm visiting family, so I had to like step outside. So, do I sound okay? I don't sound like there's a windy or anything.
Not really. We can see that it's windy, but
Okay.
I can't
Yes.
hear the wind. It was really
Uh,
windy here too today. Andrew Brown says, "Hi, Mario. You should wear one of your shirts. They look great." Oh yeah, there is a Monaco 64 golf shirt. Yeah, I have to wear it this week. Yeah, we
Yeah,
went out
sport
for.
sport your own what's it called? Your own sport your own merch.
Yeah, there's a lady. She watches the channel and she built a merchandise store for us, and it's got stuff like this. And the Fed, and it's got Rudy with Andrew Jackson. And then in the back, we've got like what he said about banking.
Hmm.
Said, I sincerely believe that banking establishments are more dangerous than standing armies, and that the principle of spending money to be paid by posterity under the name of funding is but swindling futurity on a large scale. So that's a good, you know, thing.
Yeah.
if you went through the American school system, you would think that Andrew Jackson was America's Adolf Hitler.
Really?
Like that, yeah. The American school system goes out of its way to villainize him. Even though he was a wildly popular president and probably the most libertarian president we've had.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
must
all,
be a
all we hear
recent
about
thing.
all we hear about is the Trail of Tears with Andrew Jackson. So Andrew Jackson gets elected, and then he kicks out all the Native Americans. That's all we know about him.
Well, I
So
mean,
that,
I was born in Brazil, and but I went to the American school in Rio, high
yeah,
school, and they taught us American history. I never heard those things. I guess it's a new woke thing. But back in the
yeah.
when I was in high school in the late 70s, early 80s, it's one of the reasons why, I really learned the American history. I thought it was great, what they did. But now, unfortunately, the same thing they do it here, Phil. They villainize the history. I know the British Empire did things that weren't great, but they also did a lot of things that uh, were good, in my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, at least the battle is coming to people are both sides are being unmasked and the sides are getting clearer. So it's not like in the earlier, I mean, in the late 20th century, it's like if you pointed out that there was even a battle, you were a conspiracy theorist, but now it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I started looking into things like conspiracy theory, like in 2003 and 4. By 2007, my wife thought I was crazy, but now she's looking at exactly all the things I did, and I say, well, I knew that, and it's like,
Yeah.
so for me now, it's like it's not a shock, but I think, Rafi, what's happening uh, not just here but everywhere is there because they're trying to divide the populations in each country because I think they're losing control of things, so they want us divided so they can conquer us. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't know how orchestrated it is from a top figure in a conscious way. I'm more on the side of this is a system that divide and conquer is how it naturally operates, and there's no one guy or group of people behind it. And they're all just a bunch of warring factions, but they're losing their power, and we're starting to feel it in our pockets now. The stackers,
Mm.
we're finally starting to feel it, and on the one hand, it's nice to have more resources. On the other hand, it doesn't feel that great, really.
No, well, we've got a super chat from Golden Sun. He's from A2 Michigan. You know what that means, Rafi? A2?
No, I know what Area A is here. I don't know what
No,
A2
it's
is.
Ann Arbor
Oh, okay.
too. Yeah,
I
I
think
asked.
I had a guy contact me. Said or he's with my son's football soccer team, and he's a parent. And he somehow we were chatting, watching the game, and gold and silver came up. It didn't, and I didn't prompt it. I just came up, and I was like, well, I happen to be active in this community. And so
Yeah.
he's like, oh yeah, really? Yeah, send me some links. And I sent him some hyperinflation stuff from Rafi, and I think I scared him because I never heard
Yeah.
back.
Rafi,
It's
is
maybe
that
conspiracy theory stuff.
you drinking red wine, Rafi?
Yeah, yeah. It's 10
Nice.
o'clock. It's 10 o'clock over here. I'm gonna go to bed after this. So I'm
Yeah.
just winding down.
Yeah. We had lunch, my wife and I, at the golf club. We had a little bit of wine, but the yeah, the my I spoke to my sister in Switzerland yesterday, and her daughter lives in Florida, and she told me that my niece told her that like grocery prices are going through the roof, at least in Florida.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
it's get crazy.
Yeah.
yeah, I
And
mean,
I
but
go sorry.
sorry, it's even worse in the, my parents' neighborhood is a very Jewish neighborhood and a lot of Israelis there. And there's kosher meat all around, but like the prices of kosher meat specifically, it's unaffordable. I wouldn't be able to afford it if I lived in Florida. I don't know how people eat red meat. You have to be rich.
Yeah. You know, like today, after I finish playing golf, I was at the bar having a drink, and this other guy, he played in another group, but we all sit together afterwards, and he said, "Well, gold is going up a lot," and because I talked to him about gold like a year ago, and I said, "Well, actually, it's the dollar that's going down in the currencies," and he was kind of really. I said, "Yeah, well, it's inflation." And he said, "Is it easy to buy physical gold?" I said, "Yeah, you can buy physical gold, coins." And I said, "It's not bulky." And I gave him an example, the sovereigns, they're just under a quarter of an ounce. You can fit them in like a little tube that's the size of your finger, and you can fit 50 in there. And in pounds is worth about $31,000. So you could put three tubes in your pocket, and you've got like 100,000 pounds in your pocket. So I told him that, and he said, "Oh, really?" But I've had people ask me in the last few years many times about gold, whether they should buy it, and they never do it. But they'll probably start doing it when it gets to 5 or 6 thousand.
Well,
It
better
probably
that
I
than
think
10.
silver's the better gateway drug because you can get like a silver coin for like 50 bucks, a silver ounce for like 50 bucks, and it doesn't feel like you're putting $3,500 into something, you
Yeah,
know?
no, that's true. I think silver
Buy it,
will.
and they never do it. But they'll probably start doing it when it gets to 5 or 6 thousand. Oh,
I think that's.
Wait,
I think that could
well,
be
it
Clive.
really, I think silver.
wait, why
Clive,
is
you're
there a loop?
echoing. Yeah, Clive's got the video going on his end.
Oh,
Clive?
I thought we were in one of those Star Trek
Yeah,
episodes where we went
you're
back
in a
five
time loop.
seconds and then yeah, there was an episode like that, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pat, Pat, thank you for your super chat. Says thanks for your info, Mario. You're pure gold. Oh yeah, there's a story of the King of Egypt in the 1950s and 60s. Uh, he had to get his weight in gold every year as a form of tax from the public. So he was a really fat guy. He was. Yeah, he actually had the King of Egypt. He had the 1933 double eagle that was not supposed to have been minted.
Mhm.
You know about that story, don't you, Clive?
Yes, hello, good evening. Hello, Phil. Hello, Rafi, and hello, Mario, and hello,
Hey,
all your
Clive.
viewers. So, yes, in the 1950-ish, when he got overthrown, they basically got his coin collection together, and there was one of these coins which the American Secret Service had been hunting for about 30 years. It was a 1933 double eagle gold coin. And what had happened, this coin had somehow escaped the US Mint and been sold to the King of Egypt with permission of the US Mint or the US government, effectively. But then they discovered it had got out by mistake and they wanted it back. So they kept
Yeah.
writing these letters to the King of Egypt, and he kept saying, "Well, we just ignored the letters." But when he was overthrown, Christie's or Sotheby's were going to put it into a big auction sale. So the American government wrote to the government of Egypt, the new government, and said, "Can we have our coin back, please?" They took it out of the auction and didn't reply to the letter. So that coin then vanished for another 50 odd years until it turned up in London about 50 years later. And then there was a coin dealer who had bought it, and he was enticed by the Secret Service to America to basically, he didn't know
Yeah.
it was a escape coin, but he was enticed to America to try and sell the coin to a dealer and was promptly arrested when he arrived.
Yeah, it sold for $8 million, I think. Anyway, there's a super chat here from Dimitri. Thank you. Gentlemen, a question for everyone. What do the holders of the mining stocks do at the first sign of liquidity crunch? It kind of scares me, the great taking and all that. Your wisdom is appreciated. By the way, platinum is gone on eBay. Rafi, I'll let you answer that first.
What do I think mining stocks are going to do at the first sign of a liquidity crunch? They're
Yeah,
probably going to fall, but I don't know how far. Or they might not, but like I wouldn't be surprised if they fall. It shouldn't put you in any dire emotional straits. Whatever they do in the first few days following a liquidity crunch, because we know in the maybe second or third day following a liquidity crunch is going to be a printing spree. So you just have to be okay with whatever happens. And with the grade taking is something else. I'm not so worried about it really, because I think the grade taking is happening through inflation. I think that is the grade taking. And the idea of governments seizing entire portfolios or just not giving you access to your securities because they happen to be a derivative of a derivative derivative of the real ownership title. I understand there's a whole chain and you don't really own the thing, whatever, but people, everybody has a stock portfolio. So if the government just takes it from everyone because of a technicality that they only own a claim to a claim to a claim to a claim to a claim, then they're going to piss off the entire country, and they don't have the power to do that. So that's why I'm not so worried about the great
yeah.
taking.
I'll
Uh,
add something about the great taking. Um, yeah, I read the book and I did a video on it. I mean, it was. And yes, there is a chance of that happening, but I've recently listened to people talking about who really owns all the stocks, and like the top 10% own most of the stocks, like the bottom 50 or two-thirds of Americans own almost, they almost have no savings. So I think a great taking would be politically really bad thing because it would hurt like the very wealthy. And I think it wouldn't be very politically palatable. Uh, as for the mining stocks, I think it depends. Probably the junior miners might get hit harder, but I think the big producers, I'd hold on to it because, like Rafi said, like back in 2008, we dropped from like 1,000 to $700 when Lehman collapsed. But then it just, the markets just took off, and by uh, 2011, gold was at almost three times higher at what it was at 1900. So yeah, I'll let Clive
I
now
would say, oh,
talk.
I'm sorry. Go
Phil,
ahead.
go ahead, Phil. That's fine.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, if the viewer is worried about liquidity issues, then you should stack paper dollars now until you don't feel worried about it. I mean, if you think the junior miners are not going to be a source of liquidity for you, so you should not intend to be using them as a source of liquidity, and therefore you shouldn't care if they go up or down during the liquidity crunch anyway. That's not their purpose. Their purpose is to magnify your investment, 5, 10 years down the line, when the miners are the only things that are the only stocks that have proven value after the inflationary charade is over. And as far as the great taking, I'm going to add another wrinkle to this. What is the value of the stock of Ford Motor Company when everyone in America is too broke to buy Ford cars? Right? What is the stock of Microsoft or Tesla when everyone's too broke to buy computers or electric cars? Right? So all these things are connected, and they're all going to go way, 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 way down in real terms, except the miners, because they're the only ones producing actual money, and they're so undervalued right now. Now, could the brokerage houses go for they loaned out your mining stock? The great taking is not so much government seizure; it's that the brokerage houses have, when you buy stocks through a brokerage, the brokers have loaned out your stock as collateral. They've taken loans against it using your stock as collateral. And so when the deflationary crash happens, they might just shut down, and somebody else has claim to your stock. That's the real issue. And I just did a video on this. If you're worried about the great taking, if that's something that bothers you, and you want to have exposure to minings, I would either do what Bill Holter recommends, which is to get physical possession of your stocks, and he has advice how to do that. He's given it out on Liberty and Finance and other places. Or I would go through a mutual fund like Peter Schiff's Gold Fund, which is what I'm doing.
Clive?
First of all, a, a liquidity crunch that's caused by the failure of some institution or a country or a collapse of some major institution. So when a country fails or a large institution fails, suddenly a bunch of assets cease to exist. And that means everybody else on the planet has to rebalance their books. And when they rebalance their books, net net, they're selling stuff to rebalance. So in such a situation, everything goes down, including gold and gold mining stocks. But it's only going to be temporary because it's only a question of time, because this is a serious event, that the central banks step in and reflate the system. So the central banks step in and say, we'll buy a bunch of government bonds so the government can then spend the money and basically pay out money to all those companies which are in trouble or whatever, or it could be the banks, doesn't really matter. So if you have a liquidity crunch, it's only going to be temporary in the modern world. So it's going to be a temporary situation. Everything goes down, and then suddenly the central banks step in, everything goes back up again. So it's not something to worry about if you can withstand the volatility. On the great taking, I agree with Phil. It's a broker level thing. If you have your assets held in a bank or a broker or a custodian, and that custodian has done something it shouldn't have done with them, like pledge them to a third party, which is not allowed to do, that's obviously kind of breaking the law, then the third party has got your assets, but it thinks it's theirs, and you think they're yours, and it gets fought out of the courts, and the courts will defend the system. They won't defend the small guy. So it is a risk, but it's not. I don't see it as a very big risk. I see it as a very small risk, and I think it's a risk which is well worth taking.
Yeah, especially with what the miners are starting to do. And Clive and Rafi also mentioned that the central banks would step in to inject liquidity. And it looks like they're doing it already. The title of this live stream is to do with the PBOC because they announced on Friday, I think, yeah, Thursday or Friday, that they're going to inject $1 trillion through the reverse repo. And this was not expected, and it's really unusual, and it's like $140 billion. So maybe they have some problems already in China, and I think they have problems as well in the US and Europe especially. So I wouldn't be surprised that in the next 3 to 6 months we see some kind of liquidity crunch and QE again. I don't know what you think about that, Rafi. I'll let you answer first my question.
Uh, just a technical point here. I think this is the case. I think when China refers to reverse repo, they mean what we would mean by repo. I think they just got their terms
Yeah,
wrong.
they are buying. I think they're buying the government bonds from the banking system and injecting cash into the banks. I think
Yeah, so
U.S. is the other
that's
way
what we would
around,
call
isn't it?
that's what we would call repo in
Yeah,
China they
yeah,
call it reverse repo.
yeah,
Whatever. It means they're injecting cash into the banking
yeah,
system. I
yeah.
didn't hear about this. China they're like on a different wavelength because their interest rates are going down and down and down, and the West interest rates are going up and up and up. Um, I still think that when the West falls, China falls with it because they are the producers and we are the consumers. So if the consumers fall, the producers fall too. Like if you lose your customers, you lose your income. Or if the currency collapses in which you're getting your income, then you lose your income also. Uh, so why China would be injecting cash now. I mean, we know. I mean, the place is very opaque. It's still communist, except for the special economic zones that they allow freedom in, so they can supply the West with a bunch of stuff, so they can stack more dollars. But China's economy has been so fake for so long, and they still have these ghost towns and this whole real estate bubble throughout the whole country, and it's still like a very corrupt, disgusting regime. I mean, we're not allowed we don't really say that because the West gets most of its stuff from China, but that's still the reality, and it's gonna have to go.
Not very different though from our regimes.
That's true. No, I guess in the way it functions, no, but at least I mean the West still has an idea of individual liberty, whereas I don't think the Chinese see that as a value at all, other than maybe a temporary expedient. There's still a feeling in the West that individual liberty is a good thing in and of itself. In China, that was never there.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Clive? Do you
Well,
think it's going to
the
affect things, the Chinese injection of funds, or?
I mean, they want to reflate the economy. The China's suffering obviously from the slowdown in sales to America on the one hand, and secondly, the way of saving traditionally in China has been by buying apartments. So many Chinese people bought apartments, and now suddenly they're finding that the bottom's fallen out of the market because there's far more apartments or houses, if you like, than there are people to occupy it, and the population is not rising anymore. So the and a lot of building companies have left these blocks of apartments which they're building and that people have paid for. They're half empty. So suddenly everybody is now drawing in their horns saying, oh my God, my traditional form of saving isn't working. And they're not willing to spend money on things. And they want, so the Chinese government definitely has to reflate the economy. I think we're going to see more of that. I think that's just a first step, and we'll probably see more money thrown at the economy sooner or later.
Phil, what's your view on China?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people who think that China is somehow eating our lunch, that they've somehow outsmarted us. That and I think your friend King Kong Eric Young is always talking about the rest of the century is going to be the Chinese century where China is going to move to the forefront.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
I don't
Jim
think that's true
Rogers
at
said
all.
that too, didn't he? Jim Rogers, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's true at all. I think we're going to see. I mean, we're all going to go down together. It's not like it's not like we're going to do fine and they're going to collapse. They are holding enormous amounts of American dollars. We took all their stuff and we gave them dollars, which we're going to default on, and so all the people holding dollars are going to be completely broke over there. Not to mention they have overbuilt their industry, and maybe some people say, well, it's better to be overbuilt than underbuilt, but they're going to have a bunch of factories with absolutely no one to sell to because we are broke. America's broke, so we can't buy any more Chinese stuff, and there's not going to be anything in China to sell. There's not going to be anyone to buy. They can maybe sell domestically to their gold holders, and gold and silver holders, but most of the Chinese are also broke because instead of going to gold, they bought a bunch of real estate. So I mean, to say that if you think the Communist Party of China is somehow doing better than us, then we should not have a free society. Then communism works, right?
Hmm.
If you think communism works, if you think China's beating us, then that means communism works, and
Yeah.
maybe we enjoy our personal liberties better, but communism is now a better state. And
Well,
I don't.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I'm just
I know you didn't.
reporting.
There
Yeah,
are
I'm
Chinese
just
broke.
reporting on the injection of funds.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I think China, though, has a lot more gold than they tell us publicly. They've got a lot more than 2.3 thousand tons. So,
That's not necessarily a good thing because
yeah.
gold has having lots of gold in a system. I'm not talking about a person because people mistake what I'm trying to say. For a person, yes, you always want to go seek out as much gold as possible. When a system has a lot of gold revolving around it, you only get two things. You get more jewelry and you get higher prices. So if China reveals they have 30,000 tons of gold, like that, like we think they might, then that means prices in China in gold terms are going to be sky high, and prices everywhere else are going to drop like a rock because we will want to sell them stuff to get their gold. Now, what's that going to do to Chinese industry? It's going to collapse it. Chinese export-based industry when prices are sky high in China. So they have all kinds of problems on their end too. It's not
Hmm.
like they are not outsmarting us. They're not outsmarting the system. The system is stealing from everybody around the entire world, and it's we Americans are sitting in drowning in debt, and in China they're slaving away for American debt that's not worth anything. So they're slaving away for nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Dmitry Smirkovich, thank you for your super chat. How about Soviet style great taking, replacing your brokerage account with 50-year bonds, 50-year back bonds? Well, they did that in Cyprus uh, in 2013. People who had over 100,000 euros in the bank account, they got shares in the banks that collapsed. So it wasn't a great deal. So it's possible. Clive, any view on
Well,
that?
that's basically called a bail-in, and it's where the government tells you or tells part of the society, such as the pension funds, you have no choice. You have a big balance, we'll have X percent of it and give you in exchange something of equal value. We'll call it bonds, except the bonds are very low interest and they're very long dated and they're never going to be repaid with anything which will buy you anything. So, so you're basically forced to invest in the government against your wishes. And you have no choice in it because they'll help themselves to your bank account, or they'll help yourself, or they'll make it. It depends on who they're talking to. If they're talking to the pension funds, they'll make it a law. You've got to invest in government bonds. And if they're talking to you, they'll say everybody with more than X pounds or dollars in the bank, you're giving us the surplus, and we're giving you something worth exactly the same in exchange, except it's not worth the same in exchange because you can't sell it for that.
Uh, Golden Sun, thank you for the super chat. He says Alex Craner spoke of the Bank of England currently bailing out Repo and a failed bank or two. Any thoughts and guesses or guesses? Well, yeah, I'll answer that first. Uh, Earlier, well, in the middle of last week, gilt yields, government bond yields in the UK were really spiking. Not very sharply, but they were making like 27-year highs. And then all of a sudden they turned around and went down. Yeah, the Bank of England, they do a lot of these short-term repo operations. I think they've pumped already they like 70 billion pounds. I think they're playing a losing game because yields are gonna eventually go a lot higher. They might be able to keep it down. I mean, they dropped quite a bit on Friday because of the weak non-farm in the US and in the UK as well. As far as banks failing, I mean, that's possible because banks hold a lot of government bonds, and if government bonds go down, their balance sheets don't look as good. Rafi, have you got a view on that?
On, wait, what exactly am I commenting on?
Yeah, the whether the Bank of England is intervening in the government bond market and whether you think there might be some banks in trouble. Maybe you don't follow the UK.
Well, I have been following the 30 the long dated bonds. I mean, Alistair McLeod has been talking about this a lot. UK 30-year, basically a lot of countries in Europe, Germany, France, the long dated bonds are the yields are rising. The question is are the central banks interfering directly in buying bonds? It might not be direct because if it was direct, you would see it on their balance sheets, and we're not seeing those balance sheets expanding. But that doesn't mean they're not applying pressure to whatever their subordinates are and saying, if you don't buy these bonds now, you're not gonna benefit from our bailouts later, or however they're doing it. I don't know. I mean, there's other ways for them to act other than directly buying bonds and putting them on their balance sheet. They know that we're on to them, so they might try to find other discrete ways to accomplish these things. But basically, what McLeod says, what Alistair says, is correct. That once the long dated gilt and French bonds and German bonds or whatever's holding the Eurozone together, I know the UK is not part of the Eurozone. Whatever's holding all this spit together, uh, if it falls, then everyone is screwed. So,
Yeah.
however they accomplish whatever manipulation they do, they'll do it and they'll try to keep it out of our view.
Clive, have you got any opinion on that?
You know, I don't know what's going on with. First of all, is a bank in trouble in the UK, Barry? Is that what you were saying
Well,
to us
that was
earlier?
the question from the viewer. I don't know if bank is in trouble. I mean, I think we
The,
only find out when, the stock price plummets and something comes out. But before that, it's difficult to tell.
I mean, there's a lot of tiny banks have popped up in England whose names I've never heard of. You know, I keep hearing people saying I'm banking with da da da. I think, well, I've never heard of that one, and they've all got banking licenses. So yeah, who knows? Maybe one of these little tiny things is in trouble, but I don't think that's a. I hope there's no major bank in trouble. I've heard nothing of that nature. Um, so yeah, that's all I can say. I'm not aware of anything.
Phil, any?
Yeah, I'm not aware of anything
Okay.
specific happening in the
Yeah.
UK.
I,
Sorry.
I wanted actually to share this because it came out last week and someone got a hold of the Goldman Sachs research, and it says diversify into commodities, especially gold. So I thought that was interesting. I mean, this is something that we, in this space have been warning people for the last, well, I mean, I thought commodities were going to start a bull market in the early 2020s, only because bonds, I thought were going to start a bear market, and I thought hard assets will benefit in relative terms. But we see now that banks like Goldman Sachs, who usually just push paper and derivatives, they're actually telling their clients to diversify into commodities. And they even, I think they said that they expect gold well above 4,000 by mid 2026 if the Fed's independence is damaged. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I see that. Well above 4,000 by mid 2026 in the middle of your page, Mario. I see that.
Yeah, it's here. Yeah, right there.
Their calls just follow the market.
Yeah. The other couple of weeks ago, Bank of America, which is another bullion bank, they said, "Oh, we're bullish silver. We see silver at $42 by the end of 2026." And I thought, that's not bullish. We're almost at 42 now. So, the bullion banks, I mean, I've been following them since I started following gold in '02. And I mean, now they can't do it anymore because gold is in a massive bull market. But for example, a few years ago, if gold was like 1,500, they'd say, "Oh, in the next few years, we expect gold to revert back to 1,000," and like so on and so forth. But now, they're saying they're bullish, but I think they're not bullish enough. And one of the reasons is these couple of charts here, and I'm going to bring them up. First one is a bit more short term, and this line here, we're going to see in the longer term chart. I think it's really important. And it was around 2,700, this line. And that's why I think we saw this pullback, in the retest. And now as well, I mean, we've broken out of this pennant or symmetrical triangle, and it's really taken off, and there's nothing like above here. So that's very bullish. I'm not saying we won't see any corrections, but and then this one is the same chart, but really long term. And this is why that 2,700, in my opinion, was so important. And I was waiting for that
Wait,
test.
Mario, can you flip back to the other one so I can see the
Yeah.
difference for a second? Okay, yeah, and then go to the forward. Okay, okay.
So this is from the high in 1980 to the high in 2011. That's where that 2,700, when we're breaking out here, I thought we might see resistance at 2,700. I mean, we didn't initially because it went up quite a bit, and then I think, I'm not sure, it went 2,900 or something, and then it broke back down. I think it was after the Trump won the election. But
Mhm.
now, I mean, we're really taking off, and a lot of people don't look at these long-term charts, and this is why I think, yeah, people are concerned about a liquidity event, and that gold might drop in miners. But when you look at this, I mean, you just need to sit tight. You know, like Jesse Livermore said, the people who make the real money, the big money, they're not more smarter than anyone else. They're just more patient and they just sit. Just wonder what you guys think.
If
Well,
you
that,
if you can you take that chart back further? Can you go back to like 1919 or
Uh,
I sorry 1913?
yeah, let's see.
If you can go back to 1913, it's like it's going vertical.
Well,
It's
1913, there wasn't any, it was fixed. But anyway, I can, let,
sure.
let me, I'll
Well,
do
it
it
just
a
gives
line
perspective.
chart.
Yeah.
I'll do
It
it
just gives
monthly.
perspective, but
Yeah,
it's
I
okay.
do it monthly. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Well, it
if you
goes
pull
back
back
to
look,
1833.
hey, yeah. So this is a vertical. You can see the curve. You can see the curve and extrapolate. We're going vertical, and we're going
Yeah,
vertical now. Like
yeah,
the time to like not be in gold is long gone. I would just get into gold and silver.
yeah. And it's not to make money because gold and silver are money. It's to
The
save.
money itself. Yeah.
Yeah, because you know, the food prices in Florida and even here, a friend of mine, he was saying, you know, I buy my mom, my mom like mince meat, like Angus beef mince meat, which isn't cheap, but he said I used to buy 3 pounds 50, and now it's 8 pounds in less than 2 years.
Well,
And
tell him it'll be 800 pounds in maybe a
yeah,
year.
the thing is, from what I've read about Weimar Germany and revolutionary France, it's the food prices that start going up before hyperinflation. That's what really gets affected. A lot of luxury goods, actually, and cars and stuff like that, they actually go down in price because people don't need them.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fully
Mario,
expected.
I was thinking, what would be an interesting research project is to plot the price calls of banks. Let's say like what did banks, the big banks, when they said, well, what do you think the price of gold's going to be in 5, 10 years out? What did they think in 2003, 2004? Were they
Oh
saying
yeah, yeah.
1900? Like, are they ever right long
Yeah.
term? Like, is there any value to anything they say?
well,
Uh,
you know,
we
I've
could
worked,
ask Chat GPT, Clive, no?
yeah, well, I've worked in banking all my life, and I can tell you that investment analysts do not like to stick their head out. They want to stay in the pack. They don't want to be an outlier. So you'll always find the predictions are fairly not very far away from the present price, and they're very much in line with what everybody else is saying. So it's very, very unusual that you'll get somebody who says, even if they're very, very bullish, they're still going to temper it, pull it right back, and try and stay in the pack because that's what they're paid to do. They're paid if they're an outlier and it goes wrong, someone's going to call them out on it and say you're supposed to be an investment specialist and you got it wrong. So
I
that's
think
on the
Yeah, Clive, can I just say one thing about that? I agree with you. They always try to be, but with gold, it's different. They used to always be bearish. With stocks, they're always bullish. They're always calling
yeah.
for stocks to go up higher. There is a difference, but I
And
can't, yeah.
And Mary, I'd just like to say something about your chart. I mean, I'm not a chart follower, but I realize that we all look at charts all of the time. One of the problems with charts is that when people look at charts, they see the line near the top of the page and they say, "Oh, it's at the top. It can't go any higher." So when I was working and I had to show my clients a chart of anything, I always ensured that the chart finished in the middle of the page because if it looked like it was the top, they would say, "Oh my God, it can't go any higher." And if it was something going down, it was cheap. If I put it at the bottom of the page, if I put it down at the bottom, they would say it's at the bottom, which obviously wasn't always the case. So you always try and I always would try and like the chart you've got on the screen now. I'd
Yeah,
always try and
that's the
have my
one, I
chart
guess you mean.
finish
Yeah.
at the 50% mark.
Yeah. But I know this is near the top, but I think it's very bullish anyway. This one here is the Dow Gold ratio, and we dropped quite a bit in April when we had that beginning of April, and then it's being consolidated, and now it's breaking down, and it looks a little similar to this. And this was in '07. before the great financial crisis, but I mean, we'll have to see anyway. Let's see if there must be more questions. Uh, let's.
One thing I
Yeah.
may, because we were just discussing Weimar, I do want
Yeah.
to stress that Weimar was a very unique situation because the Entente powers were not letting Germany default. They said, you cannot default. You have to give us
Mm.
gold. And that's what stretched Weimar out to 2 years. I want to reassure the viewers, like, I think this will be over in 3 to 6 months once it really gets going. It's going to be brutal. It'll be as brutal as Weimar, but it'll be a lot shorter.
Yeah, but in Weimar, it started taking off. The hyperinflation really picked up in the summer of 2022, 1922, and by the
Yeah.
1923 it was over. So it was about 18 months. Uh,
Yeah.
and
I
this is
think this will be about 3 months. I
yeah.
think they'll once they start losing control of food prices, I think they'll revalue to gold, and
Oh,
that'll be it.
yeah. I mean, von Mises says, the crack up boom or hyperinflation, he says it takes weeks and months. People just, and this chart, this looks like the chart of gold that we have, even though it's shorter term. And this looks like, 29, well, yeah, 2011 to 2024. And now we've broken out. And I think we're kind of like maybe it was a correction here. I don't know, like we had in the last 4 months. But it looks, I mean, I've been comparing these two charts on my channel and it looks a bit scary. And like I think Rafi said earlier, it's uh, it's not nice to see people like, you know, yeah, finding it really tough to get by. And they're not prepared for this. I mean, it's one of the reasons I've been making my videos for 10 years too. And I've always been told, oh, you're crazy. We're never going to have hyperinflation. But I think it's coming because, like all of you guys said, when push comes to shove, the central banks they're going to keep printing.
Well,
Mhm.
every single stacker is a node of civilization that will help alleviate the suffering. And I don't know about you guys. I know for a fact I've helped thousands of people move millions and millions and millions of dollars into gold because people have emailed me. I have $500,000. What do I do with it? So I was like, well, maybe you should consider
Yeah,
putting it into gold. So I know I've helped people do it, and as long as everyone does it, we don't need a centralized power. We can do this in a decentralized way, just
of
like we're
course.
doing it right now.
Yeah,
And they're going to tell their friends, and they're going to tell their friends, and they're going to tell their friends. The important thing is just to get it as dispersed as possible to alleviate, to minimize the suffering. There's going to be suffering no matter what, but the more money is actually flowing, the less suffering there's going to be.
Frank Kavija, thank you for your super chat. Says thanks for all the research you provide, gentlemen. Yeah, I wanted to bring this up here. The what von Mises says about how long it could take. So I've made this up. I copied from his book, The Cracker Boom. Are we there yet? I think we're getting quite close. And he says, but then finally the masses wake up. They become suddenly aware of the fact that inflation is a deliberate policy and will go on endlessly. A breakdown occurs, the cracker boom appears. Everybody is anxious to swap his money against real goods, no matter whether he needs them or not, no matter how much money he has to pay for them. Within a very short time, within a few weeks or even days, the things which were used as money are no longer used as a medium of exchange. They become scrap paper. I put scrap digital entries as well.
Same
Nobody,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
nobody wants to give anything away against them. So, Rafi, you have a really good analogy about inflation. It's that when it's like someone comes to your house and steals some of your apples, but you don't notice, and then they start stealing loads of apples, and then you notice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
I was actually interesting. I'm not sure if this is a pattern or, I came back from Florida, somebody from Israel had, just messaged me like, where do I get silver? I'm like, well, you can't get that much in Israel. They're not good prices. But I'm in Florida right now. You want me to pick up some silver for you? He was like, yeah, sure. So it was a total like honor system. Like, okay, I'll buy you like 4,000 shekels of silver. Come to my house, pick them up, and pay me.
Yeah.
And he bought them like at 38. Now it's 42. I didn't charge him for the now. I just charged him for what it cost me in dollars at the exchange rate back then. And then another guy called me during the Iran war. We had some people from the center of the country come up here, which was ironic because like in the beginning of the war, we were the ones going down there. I never moved. But at that time, like he had come, and then he finds me and finds my YouTube channel, and I think he also found yours, and then he starts listening to me, and at first he thought I was crazy, but then you know how it goes, like you're like, well, he's crazy, but I just want to keep listening, and then you hear like four or five videos, and you're like, well, okay, I don't know, and then he starts buying gold, and then he calls me today. And he's like, Rafi, what else should I do? And like he's kind of nervous now because he kind of believes that I'm right. So I'm starting to see this more and more, and it's making me nervous. And I don't feel good about. I feel good about it, but I don't feel good about it. And I had like this like a very short panic attack at the gym because people in my neighborhood are getting poorer and poorer. And I'm imagining like at the peak of this when people can't eat food, what am I supposed to do? I mean, I'm telling them what to do now and they can't afford to. They can't afford to buy gold. Some of them can't even afford to buy silver because they can't even afford to buy food. So I don't know. We're doing the best that we can, and that's all I can
Yeah.
say to
The other,
myself.
yeah, I agree. I mean, the other thing I noticed, like you said, you can see some people are, hard up and not can't afford to buy food or have to move in with their parents because they can't afford the mortgage and the rent, while other people, are doing really well. But that's what happens. I mean, I grew up in Brazil and I saw that firsthand, and unfortunately, it's becoming more and more like that. Uh, I've got here a super chat from Endurorama. Thank you.
Actually, can I say something real quick before you do that super
Yeah,
chat?
yeah.
The people that are doing really well right now, I mean, congratulations. I'm doing okay. You're probably a product of the inflationary system. So I would not, whatever you're doing, I would not expect it to carry you through to the other side. So think about what you want to be doing on the other side.
Yeah, I think the other thing that's important, yes, the money and the fact that gold is going up and silver, the miners, and we're doing okay, is nice. But what's more important is like mentally and spiritually and how you are. I think you got to keep doing things that create value because yeah, money on its own is not worth much, if you're doing, I don't know. I think you guys understand that, but
Yeah.
you're not just doing things for the money. You're doing things to try to create value for people, and hopefully, that will help you. But he says, "Hello, gents. World Gold Council is talking about a physical gold linked crypto. But would any of you trust this in 2025?"
So
No, I don't trust the World Gold Council. They're owned by the central bankers.
I
Fine.
wouldn't try.
Or
Oh, go ahead.
sorry.
I,
Sorry.
first of all, one of my mottos is trust nothing, because you never know. But that doesn't mean to say you shouldn't invest in things. But you've got to moderate what you invest. So if there's a gold currency, and obviously we do have some crypto gold already from Tether and from Pax Gold, they do exist, but obviously not from the World Gold Council yet. But if there's a gold digital currency, you can have a little bit of exposure to it, but you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So would I trust it? Answer no, I definitely wouldn't trust it, but I might have some.
Yeah, Phil. Sorry.
It depends on the yields. If they are offering you yields on your crypto, so just like if you hold the crypto, we'll just send you some, then I wouldn't trust that at all. If you have to pay to hold the crypto, because no one's going to pay you to like look at your gold for you. Like if you want somebody to hold your gold for you, you have to pay for that service. So if they're acting like a bank where they're issuing notes, but the gold is deposited and they keep some of the, they reduce some of the outstanding shares of the crypto, the outstanding tokens to pay for the maintaining of the vault, so they get to keep some of the physical gold inside, then I would say that's a trustworthy crypto system. I investigated, I think it was Kinesis. I think it was called Kinesis. That I was potentially going to partner with them and be a spokesperson for them. But when I looked into the way they do their accounting, it was like, oh yeah, you hold on to these tokens, and we'll give you more tokens just for holding on to them. I said, how is Kinesis paying for this? So my alarms went way up, and I don't think Kinesis
Yeah,
has the gold they say they have underneath.
I was contacted by them because I always thought that was a bit concerning that also you can have gold with them and they pay you like a
Yeah.
dividend. The
Right?
only way you can do that is that when new people come in and they take a commission, they give it to the old people. But that sounds a lot.
That's a Ponzi scheme.
There's a pyramid
Yeah,
scheme.
that's what I said, and they came to me and told me you need to like do a video saying that it isn't. So I mean, but I'm not involved with them. I'd rather a company that stores gold for me digitally, like Glint, for example. I'd rather they charge me for it, and they do,
Yeah,
because it shows that they're
that's honest. Yeah.
yeah, even though years ago, I don't know if you guys remember, Morgan Stanley used to have a silver service in New York where you could store physical silver supposedly, and they charged storage every year. And then one year, people tried to get the silver and they didn't have it. They paid millions of dollars in
Oof.
fines. So even if they're charging you storage, it could be a lie. So you can never, like Clive said, you can never trust people fully,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
but if they're not charging you storage, it's definitely a lie. But if they are charging you storage, it's you still need to
Yeah,
check on it
that's
regularly.
right. Clive, any interesting stories about gold storage? In
Um, well, I agree. All I can say is I totally agree with Phil. If they're not charging you storage, how are
yeah,
they paying for it? How are they paying for it? Is it really there?
yeah,
That I think is the point. I mean, everywhere I do store gold with my bank. It's called gold in custody. It appears on my valuation. But yeah, they charge me 0.5% a year. And so I do. I've got a sense that it's not a Ponzi scheme. I mean, who knows? It might be.
yeah. I've got my Ango hard, that 10 ounce.
Oh, that's poured gold, isn't it? That's nice. Poured gold is very
My
nice.
wife actually polished it from the other day. She was polishing the silverware and she polished the silver bar. I told her, don't polish the silver coins though.
No, no,
Not
that's
supposed to.
That's when you know you got the right woman. She polishes your bars, but not your coins. That should go on a t-shirt.
Let's see if there are any questions. Someone says here, Michael Kennedy, what a time to be alive. So much change is coming. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, do you want to opine on that, Rafi?
Oh, so
Are
much
we actually going to see your end game? Right? Are we in the end game right now, Rafi? I wanted to actually ask you that.
right
That
now.
was the name, used to be the name of your channel, no? Or it still is?
Yeah, the end
End
game.
game
That's
investor.
who I am. I'm the end game investor. That's on all my videos. Are we in the end game? Oh, I no, I don't think we are yet because society's still functioning. We're still talking to each other on the internet. I can still buy food for, reasonable prices relative to my income. Not everyone can do that. We're definitely being flushed down the toilet, and the closer we get to the drain, the faster we're spinning. But no, I don't think we're in the end game yet. I think the end game will be like when the next printing round starts, like a 2020, like a March, April 2020 printing round. except this time it's not going to be with the entire global economy shut down. It will be with consumer prices rising already at a 5, 6, 7% clip in dollar terms, and then they start printing money like 2020, and then a month later they start rising by 15%. A month after that, 25%, and then 3 months, 45%, and then it's not going to take long for everything to collapse. But the one thing I wanted to say, going back to China for a second, following what Phil said, just on a toilet analogy, just occurred to my brain. So I just want to complete because it's in my head that if we're spinning down a toilet and we're on one side of the toilet and China's on the other side of the toilet and we're spinning like this, right? And we're always opposite each other. We think that they're always in the better position, but they're just spinning in the same clockwise direction or counterclockwise or whatever it is.
They're in the toilet as well, so it's
Yeah.
great. Uh, James Brannick, thank you for the super chat. He says it's the four horsemen of the repo apocalypse. Thanks for all your insight as we teeter on the brink. Can I ask you, Mario, does yield curve control come from government policy or the central banks? I would say it's both because the governments need to keep yields down so they can keep financing their schemes, and the central bank implements that policy for them. Uh, do you guys agree?
Yeah, I mean, sooner or later, the government will incite the central bank to help them out by buying bonds and stopping the yields from rising too high. That's what's been going on in Japan for decades, where basically the central bank has been keeping interest rates ultra low so the Japanese government could borrow money. Now, that's kind of losing control on that a little bit, but it's only a question of time before yields in the United States top 5.5% or 6% or something like that, and the central bank is forced to step in. Same thing in the UK. We'll get to 6% on the long bond, and the Bank of England will step in and become buyer of the last resort of bonds because nobody else wants to buy them.
Well, talking about Japan, actually, Clive, did you guys hear the Japanese Prime Minister resigned today?
Yeah.
That could have an impact on JGB, so we need to keep an eye on JGBs because
Is
he
that effective immediately, or is he like, I'm going to resign in a few weeks?
no, he is immediate. He's no
Wow.
longer
Wait,
the
wait, what did he resign over? What's his problem?
well, he's not popular at all, and
You don't
people.
like him? That's so sad.
Yeah, and he was he stayed on because he wanted to finish negotiating the trade deal with Trump, but now he's finished and he's resigning. So
Is everybody upset about rice prices? Is that it?
yeah, people,
And immigration.
they always kept saying that, we're going to have deflation, but the Japanese yen is one of the worst performing currencies versus gold, which in my book is inflation, and people are starting to feel it. Oh, I've got this other chart here. Is silver as a percentage of the gold price. And we've broken out of this wedge, but there's this line here from 2011. I think we're right near there, but just got a lot of potential, I think. And yeah, I think once silver, I mean, not that gold isn't breaking out already, but I think silver will accelerate. And like Phil said, for people who haven't bought gold, I guess silver will be the alternative.
Well, on the 25th of September, the consultation period over whether silver should be a strategic mineral in the United States will finish. And assuming there's no strong objections to that, and the government goes with what's already been decided to put silver and strategic minerals, they'll have to start building a silver stockpile. And we don't know how big that stockpile will be. Obviously, in the past, it was 2.1 billion ounces, which was like nearly 3 years mine supply at the moment. But if they start building it, it'll take them many years to build it. But I think it'll put a floor on the silver price if that goes through and they start buying. And they need to buy because according to all accounts, the military has now got zero stockpile of silver.
Mm.
How are they going to kill werewolves?
Well,
Oh
they
yeah.
used to use they used to use silver bullets, but now what are they going to use? I don't know.
Did you ever watch The American Werewolf in London? That's a good movie.
No, but okay, I'll watch it because you recommended it.
It's really old. Do you remember that movie, Klein?
I
Probably.
didn't see it actually.
Phil, how are things? Are you in where are you in Florida, Phil, or is it
No, no, no. I'm visiting my
Virginia?
parents. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
I have to step away 1 second. I got to help my mom turn on the air
We
conditioning.
got 3 minutes anyway, but if you want to just say, yeah. Rafi, let's see. Uh, Silver has been strategic for USA, especially when the silver was used to create hydrogen bomb. Uh, yeah, I'm surprised it's not like a critical mineral, silver, because it's the most used really material, wouldn't you say, for the military?
Yeah, the main problem, obviously, it's all there's a big electronics industry in America as well, and if there's a disruption in the supply from Mexico, which is where they're getting most of their silver from, it would be very disruptive to American industry. They put a number on that. I can't remember how much it was, but it's in the paper about the silver being a strategic mineral. But the loss to the American economy was many hundreds of millions of dollars, and I don't remember the figure. And they said the probability of this happening is, i.e., a Mexico supply disruption, is 4%. I don't know how they arrived at the 4% probability, but that's what they wrote.
Yeah, someone says here, James Thomas. I've heard that there's a monster box or so in most missiles. So yeah, monster box is that's 500 ounces, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Monster Box is 500 ounces. Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
I've heard that too. I don't know where it comes
Yeah,
from though.
and I saw that the Russians they bombed Kiev last night, and they 800 drones. That they must have a lot of silver as well, electronics and stuff. So
No, the bomb that fell on my street was just filled with ball bearings.
oh, okay. No silver.
I mean, I didn't really want to check it.
No. Afterwards, though, maybe you need to get a metal detector.
Yeah, I was going to say this must be like manna from heaven after all the bombings. So after it's all done, you could go there and with a dustpan and get some silver.
I think realistically, it all goes up in smoke.
Yeah,
Does
it's
it? It
funny.
vaporizes?
It's not funny, but here in the UK,
Yeah.
I saw a story the other day that they found a World War II bomb and they had to evacuate from this area. So you're still finding these bombs around here. Yeah. So, yeah, so we've come to the hour. Just wanted to start with Rafi. Any final thoughts for the viewers, and tell them also where they can find your work, please, Rafi.
Yeah, well, my final thoughts are that look, things are speeding up. I don't, aside from the final liquidity crunch, which will be very brief, I think things will speed up faster from here, and we're very close. I don't see this going out more than a few months or a year. I've said that before. I know that. But even if I'm wrong, you shouldn't behave as if it will last more than a year. I think that's dangerous. And we just got to pull together and believe that we can pull through this with God's help, and just keep talking to to one another, and stay out of the virtual world as much as we can, and keep in the physical world, and keep our hands moving and creating things, and invest in your children, those kinds of things. And you could find me at Endgame Investor at Substack, or my channel, which is my name, Rafi Farber.
Phil?
Yeah, I would just say continue. I would recommend everybody to continue to tell everybody they care about to stack, even if they don't believe you right away. People are getting nervous, so we're slowly convincing more and more people. And it's just really important that in a decentralized manner, everyone stacks as much as possible. Because once again, if this blows and just you, me, Rafi, and Clive are the only people with gold, there's going to be a zombie apocalypse. So to
I'll take
stop the zombie
Asia. I'll
apocalypse,
take Asia. You take
yeah,
North
yeah,
America.
yeah, exactly. Our crowns. Yeah.
Clive can get
Uh,
Europe.
Clive can get.
Who's got Africa?
I'll go back to South America, take over it.
Yeah, Mario the Great. Yeah. So yeah, it's just really important we get in a decentralized manner, get everyone to stack even a little bit, even if they feel like they can't. Like just buy. How much does a dime cost? $3. I think a dime costs something like $3, a silver dime right now. So you can still do it even if you're poor. You just have to make weekly trips after you get your paycheck and go spend $3, get a silver dime. Even a little bit helps. And people can reach me at the Bitter Draft on Rumble, YouTube, and you can email me at thebitterdraft@gmail.com.
Thanks, Phil. Clive?
Well, I'm actually working on a video at the moment, which will be, I think I'll be the first out with it. But there is a major gold mining investor who's about to make a move in the hundreds of millions of dollars of buying one gold stock and selling another one. I know exactly what his move is going to be, and I will be revealing all in my video in a few days' time. So stay tuned to Clive Thompson on YouTube, and you'll find out what it is, and you'll be able to act before he acts, or before that big
Mm.
gold mining investor acts. I promise you, it's not inside information, but it's not
I
something
was
you
going
can
to say,
find
this
yourself.
sounds.
It's not inside information. You won't be able to find it by Googling. I can promise you that. So don't
It's
Don't
bother.
not
worry, Clive. I won't call the SEC. I promise.
Yeah.
No,
it's
it's
not
not
it's
inside,
not
but it's not.
it's not Tether, is it?
No, it's nothing to do with Tether. Nothing, not at
Clive,
all related.
Clive, are you going to heavily short whatever advice you give us?
Let me just say, I don't know if it'll move the price. The person that the organization might well be arranging with hedge funds to prepare the positions on either side at the moment. I don't know,
All right, great.
but the move is going to happen. It's going to be a very very large, hundreds of millions investment going from left to right.
Great. Okay. And from me, I guess, yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. But also, for if we do go into a hyperinflation, aside from having gold and silver to get through it, we also need to try to keep it through the hyperinflation because after the hyperinflation is going to be needed. And I think during the hyperinflation as well, we, like Rafi said, don't be so much in the virtual world and also be nice to the people within your community because you're going to need a lot of friends because the world's going to yeah, it's going to break down. And when the world breaks down, like Rafi said, we won't be able to buy, even if you've got gold or silver, it's going to be difficult to source things. So that's what I wanted to say. And I want to wish everyone a great rest of the weekend. Okay.
Take
Thanks,
care.
everybody.
Thank you.
Well.
Bye.
Bye bye now.
Okay. Okay.